bud. Mama. Mama. Time to get up? Okay. So, pretty much every morning, this is a kind of a wake-up game that Deuce and I play. We're a little bit of grab ass, but he's super sweet at night, and he's even really sweet in the morning. But he's playful, and the more I see me here, as I get aggressive with him, he slaps me back. I hit him, he slaps me back. Just kind of a little game we play every morning. Great way to start the day, because he's such a character. And later in the day, he's a different dog, and he drives me bananas as soon as the tractor gets started or whatever. He just gets, whatever. He's just kind of a nutty dog when he gets on the property chasing things, and he gets all amped up and whatever. But at this time in the morning, first thing in the morning, I can't complain. He's just a bundle of joy to wake up to. Good morning, everybody. Today's Saturday, the 11th of May, 2019. Starting the next project. Basically, what I'm going to do is, so this is my garden pasture. It's like a 6,000 square foot garden plot there in the middle. It's been plowed and soil prepped for about 2 years, and now I'm ready to really start doing some serious planting. But I still got two issues I got to resolve. One is irrigation, but I got some ideas on what I'm going to do there, so that's not a big deal. The next thing is I almost refuse to plant anything in this garden until I get the pasture fenced off appropriately. So today, ta-da, new tractor implement, a fence stretcher. And I got the first spool of 60-inch tall 2x4 welded wire fencing on there. And I got another one here that Huey's garden for me. So I thought I'd be halfway done, as usual. This morning I was like, I'll just go string up the first spool and see how it works. But I think wisely, I decided to prep some things. So this fence looked kind of like that before, a lot of undergrowth and whatnot. So I got the mower out and mowed it on both sides, and then I got the weed whacker out and weed whacked it. Boy, that was an experience, I'll tell you. All right, boys and girls. When your mom and dad tells you to wear hearing protection and eye protection when you use a weed whacker, do so, because it throws a lot of debris. I actually caught one in the arm right there. It's bleeding a little bit. And I actually took one right in the face. Boom, hit me right in the lens. Looks like I took some debris under my lip too. Ouch. So wear your PPE, your personal protective equipment, when you use something as simple as a weed whacker. But you can see here, I got the bottom of the fence all cleaned up. There's a couple spots where I had to kick out some ugly, kind of heavy-rooted weeds and stuff. And there's one spot up here I still need to knock a piece of cement out. And I'm doing this because I want the fence to be as snug to the bottom as it can be, because after all this work and expense and time and yada yada, I don't want rabbits just crawling under it. It'll keep deer out, etc. And then rabbits. So what I'm going to do is probably either bury it a couple inches, or I'll probably backfill the bottom of it a little bit with about 4 to 6 inches of dirt or rocks or something, just to make sure nobody sneaks under the fence. But that's what we're starting today. It's about a 500-foot span around this one little pasture. I got the first couple hundred feet of wire ready to go today. I'm already sweating my behind off. It's hot and humid, so I'm gonna go do my first of probably about 4 changes of clothes, maybe even take first of a couple showers, take a little break, cool off, and we'll get to it. Keep you posted. I gotta say, I'm fairly impressed. Took me a couple minutes to figure out what I was doing. I had to go, as so often is the case, I had to jump on YouTube and find an example of somebody else demonstrating how to use this thing correctly. That's why God made YouTube, right? Anyway, so there's 100 feet of fence. Now, if anybody's ever worked with 100 feet of rolling fence before, especially if you're doing it by yourself with no help, pain in the ass. I mean, this stuff has tried to kill me so many times it's not even funny. But check this out. So at the end of the fence, it's got 3 or 4 brad nails. So I basically secured one end of the fence and then just pulled out 100 feet of fencing and used the a top link adjustment on the tractor, tighten that up. So basically, you get the bottom of the fence tight by pulling with the tractor and then setting the emergency brake. Then I use the top link there to adjust it to move the top of the frame in the 3-point hitch, kind of like this, to make the top of the fence tighter. You kind of tighten the top link and pull this whole apparatus this way. So I've got it pretty damn tight right now. There's not a single nail or any securing mechanism at all. This is just 100 feet of wire fence pulled taut by the tractor up against these poles. So now what I got to do is just kind of leave the tractor to hold the tension, and then now walk the line and start nailing in the fence to each post. Well, those roosters just are assholes sometimes. They know when I'm filming something. Anyway, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, this is pretty secure. I mean, it's secure enough for me to just nail this crap in. So that's the next order of business, is to grab this bucket, whatever you want to call those things, fencing nails, and a hammer, and hammer this stuff up. I mean, look how true that line is. That's pretty impressive for not even being secured to the post. So first 100 feet, once I get it tacked in, done. Then we'll move on, probably do another 100 feet today, call it a day, and maybe do a little bit more tomorrow. But so far, so good. As always, a learning curve. First time I've done this, but so far, so good. Alrighty then, we got the first 100 feet strung up, stapled in, looking good. So I just spent the last 30 minutes or so figuring out how to splice, hey Bubba, how to splice the next 100-foot roll into the last roll. In this case, I didn't defer to YouTube. Actually, kind of figured it out myself. And what I ended up doing was there's like 16. You can see them there, kind of individual, what I would call fishing knots. I actually based this on fisherman's knot, if you're familiar with it, and ending with a hitch. So it's like where'd it go? Fisherman's knot with a hitch at the end on both sides, all the way down. So it's basically zippered together. So I'm thinking that's going to hold plenty of tension. So what I'm going to do now is, to be quite honest, I've burned a lot of calories and sweating my behind off. I need some carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, of course, what I mean is beer. Doo-doo, get daddy a beer. Wow. This second 100 feet, because there's a right turn in the fence there, I could leverage that a little bit and really build up some tension. Look at this. This is tighter than the first 100. All my splicing held together. Very happy about that. But boy, I tell you, this thing, you should see how taut this is. I mean, it's like piano. This thing is like piano strings. Look at the bottom. This is just super, super, super tight. Very, very happy with this. Very nice. I'm gonna tack this in. Shit, I don't have to do anything but tack it in, probably till about here, and then there's an angle issue there that I'll fix that once I get closer to the tractor. But very happy with that. Well, it started raining, so I think we're done for the day. Got 200 feet of the fence put in. Pretty happy with it, actually. A little bit harder than I thought it would be, but again, there's a learning curve. One thing I will say is I'm happy now that I look at it, because I was concerned when I, come up with the concept of putting that stuff up. It's like, man, it's going to be an eyesore. I'm going to sit in the house and I'm going to see this big ugly fence around this pasture, and it's just going to be ugly. But I don't know if you can even tell, right? If I didn't tell you there was a 60-inch tall wire fence around this pasture fence, the existing red cedar fence, you might not even see it. So I'm happy that it's not the eyesore I thought it would be. Learned how to use the fence stretcher. Got pretty good with it. I got 200 feet in. depending on how I feel tomorrow and what the weather looks like, I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so maybe we won't do anything. But if it doesn't rain and it's not muddy, I may go ahead and put the other 300 feet up and get this thing done. I was cracking me up earlier. I was watching the chickens, and the chickens were watching me put the fence up. And I wish I got some video of them. They were kind of sitting like right here around that raised bed, and they were trying to figure out what the fence was all. They quickly figured out they couldn't get out. They couldn't just crawl under the fence or run under the fence like they always do. I almost got the feeling like they derive some sense of security by being behind the fence, because about a third of the flock stayed in this pasture all day, and that's rare. They're usually all over the place. So the fact that they stayed in this pasture while I'm putting this fence up, I thought it was interesting. I thought maybe they're smarter than I give. Chickens are smarter than we give them credit for. Anyway, it's enough for one day. Love the rain. No complaints. The ducks over there are loving it.